The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. Off the Crank. Junk Miles and Jettisoned Jumble. According to the mellifluous Mancunian soliloquies of universally popular astrophysicist Professor Brian Cox, and Google's exponential repository of perpetually revised postulations, it takes almost precisely 23 hours 56 minutes and 4 seconds for our little blue planet to pirouette on its lopsided axis. The missing 4 minutes and 56 seconds of every 24th hour are collected and reconstituted into an extra day, which is then appended to the end of one in every 4 Februaries, thereby precipitating a durational anomaly known as the leap year, a bit like inflation, only with time instead of money, which according to many is time anyway. And to pivot clumsily onto peddling matters, leaping was the last action on my mind during the final leg of a subconsciously undercranked cruise for an overdose of dark dopamine. My quads felt like they had slid below the kneecaps, perhaps in impulsive sympathy over the wilting daffodils I observed at Shell Springs roundabout, whose radiant plumages had remained their primary hue throughout March, but grown weary holding out for April's first torrential shower, and abruptly shriveled, turning a drab-brown shade that would have curdled the ink in William Wordsworth's quill before he'd had any chance to wander in a star-spangled sky. And in other localized rolling news, kerbside car boot bait is accumulating at a rate of perceived knots outside the quaint abodes of Shore and Beach's backwater community. One compact corner desk in auctionable condition begged for a space in my rucksack as I mashed past Anchor Close, narrowly swerving a large chunk of beach-veneered chipboard that had fallen off its bottom drawer. Sadly, this orphaned heap of certified loft fodder would never have squeezed in alongside 2 bottles of non-alcoholic Sauvignon Blanc and a fake Charles Eames office chair with one missing caster, that itself only just fitted on account of its detachable arms. Having deposited my well-gotten gains, I then returned to town for some old-fashioned financial replenishments. "Don't worry," exclaimed the 24-hour cash dispenser, nestled snugly in its brightly illuminated alcove at Eastern Avenue's branch of Tesco Express. "We won't charge you for any withdrawals from this slit in the wall." Taking what was a curiously talkative ATM at its reassuring word, I inserted my Lloyd's direct debit card and cautiously keyed in its 4-digit PIN, then requested cash with no receipt from the main menu, followed by one of the subsequent screen's smaller suggested amounts, hoping for at least a couple of crisp fivers. "I beg to differ," came an ominous message seconds later, as the parking lots surrounding oak trees murmured mindful incantations from within their leafy moors, as if sensing my mounting scepticism. "Not only may you well be charged a handling fee for your off-peak transaction, but it will likely be at least the 10% that our free world's leader has imposed upon Britain's most popular American exports, one of which happens to be £5 notes. It's the picture of Churchill on the back. Apparently the FBI have discovered that it acts as a deterrent to serial money launderers." Midnight Express. When any misrouted mail appears just that little bit too official to be responsibly bundled into this fortnight's lorry load of scrap aluminium, Reader's Digestibles, bogus life insurance plans, dummy credit cards, laminated Thai takeaway menus and extinct bottle rockets, or entrusted to your country's royally approved postal workers for unsigned delivery in a timely fashion, why not pocket the precious sterling silver you'd otherwise squander on first-class stamps by enacting your own express courier service for the fair price of a moderately intense 40-minute workout, whilst reaping the considerable benefits afforded by life's most pleasurable pastime amidst tax-free fresh air on a clement spring twilight? Letters in windowed envelopes coloured an ominous shade of manila brown would fall into this category, especially those bearing the initials of Britain's governmental tax authority, and whose recipients might well have relocated to avoid. Lancing, being my hometown's nearest westerly neighbour, falls well within range for same-day hand delivery outside business hours. And despite being hindered by my vintage Trailblazer's weightier frame, alongside the usual drag-deficient clothing, a conspicuous absence of resistance from our flag-bothering blowhards ensured that speeds remained not a whole heap slower than those of the e-doping people peddler, whose elongated hybrid I had yesterday attempted to slipstream across Ferry Footbridge. Even the Haven's crippling phantom crosswinds were reduced to velveteen whispers that made the blossom on Boundstone Lane's cherry tree flutter like restrained confetti, awaiting to render Pinkasson art upon its namesake lodge's neatly manicured lawns. Just remember, after reaching your suburban destination, to press resume hard enough so as hyper-touchy technology doesn't emit over half your placidly placed return journey.